I never thought revenge would taste like cheap bourbon and wilted wedding cake. But here I was, choking it down in the dim glow of the grand ballroom at the Ritz-Carlton in downtown Chicago. My brother, Ethan, was up there at the altar, grinning like he'd won the lottery, slipping a diamond the size of a grenade onto the finger of his blushing bride. Sarah, my Sarah. Once upon a time, I'd swapped lives with a dead man 6 months ago, courtesy of some Black Ops neural tech that the Pentagon swore didn't exist. And now I was back in my own skin, or what was left of it, plotting to burn it all to the ground. But the real hook? I didn't come for the vows. I came to watch Ethan's empire crumble, starting with the secret I'd buried for him, the one that got me swapped out of my life like yesterday's trash. That's when the general spotted me. Brigadier General Harlan Voss, the silver-haired ghost who'd greenlit the body swap experiment that turned me into a lab rat. He was in the crowd, medals glinting under the chandeliers, but his eyes locked on mine like a predator scenting blood. I ducked behind the pillar, heart slamming against my ribs, but it was too late. He weaved through the toasting guests, his polished boots clicking like a countdown, and leaned in close enough that I could smell the starch on his uniform. "Oakley," he hissed, voice low and gravelly as Lake Michigan in winter. "You're coming with me. Now." And just like that, the wedding I'd crashed for vengeance became the trap that snapped shut. What nobody knew, what even Ethan didn't suspect, was that I'd taken the fall for him a decade ago. Back when we were just two broke kids from the South Side scraping by on dreams and petty crime. He'd botched a heist at a mob-connected casino, left a trail of bodies and bad blood that should have landed him in Supermax for life. But I confessed, forged the paper trail, did the 5 years in Cook County Jail so he could walk free and build his tech empire. Family first. "Oak," he'd whispered as the cuffs clicked on me. Family. What a joke. That betrayal festered like an open wound, but it was the swap that lit the fuse. The ceremony dragged on like a bad hangover, the officiant droning about eternal love while I pressed my back against the cool marble pillar, Voss's words echoing in my skull. My fingers itched for the burner phone in my pocket, the one loaded with the encrypted files that could unravel Ethan's whole facade. But the general wasn't bluffing. I'd seen that look before, in the sterile white room where they'd wired me up for the swap. It was the same cold calculation that said lives were just variables in some classified equation. I should have bolted right then, slipped out the service entrance, like the ghost I'd become after the procedure. But something rooted me, maybe the masochistic pull of watching Sarah say, "I do," to the brother who'd stolen everything from me. Or maybe it was the plan, meticulously plotted over months in a dingy motel off I-90, where I'd pieced together the truth from leaked DARPA docs and a whistleblower's dying confession. Ethan wasn't just a tech bro anymore. He was Voss's golden boy, funneling neural interface tech through his startup, Neuralink, straight into the military's black-budget maw. The swap? It was their prototype, consciousness transfer via quantum entanglement, tested on volunteers like me. A disposable ex-con with no one to miss him. Flashback to that rainy night in 23, when Voss's team snatched me off the streets of Milwaukee. I'd been tailing a lead on Ethan's shady dealings, offshore accounts laundering casino cash into seed money for Neuralink, when the black SUVs rolled up. No sirens, no Miranda rights. Just a hood over my head and a needle in my neck. Woke up in a bunker beneath Fort Bragg, strapped to a gurney. Scientists in hazmat suits buzzing like flies over a corpse. Subject Oakley. Designation Echo 7. One muttered, as Voss loomed in the doorway, cigar smoke curling like a noose. You'll thank us when it's over. They didn't tell me what it was until the machine hummed to life, a colossal rig of superconducting coils and holographic displays, pulsing with blue ether that made my teeth ache. The goal? Swap my mind into the body of a comatose CIA asset, a guy named Marcus Hale who'd flatlined during an enhanced interrogation gone wrong. Hale's shell was perfect, clean record. Embedded in DC. Circles. A ghost who could walk into any room without raising flags. My body? They'd dump it in Lake Michigan. Weighted and forgotten. Another statistic in the opioid crisis. But betrayal cut deeper than the science. Ethan knew. He'd greenlit it. His signature on the consent forms I'd never seen, forged. Of course. Like my confession all those years back. Collateral for the greater good, Voss had justified later. When I confronted him in Hale's skin, piecing together the fragments from Hale's encrypted laptop. Ethan needed me gone to secure a $1 billion DoD contract. I was the loose end, the brother who remembered the bodies in that casino vault. So they erased me, swapped me out like a faulty hard drive. The swap hit like lightning in a bottle, agony ripping through neurons as my essence tore free. A digital scream echoing in the void. I blacked out for weeks. Or months. Time dilates when your soul's untethered. Woke up gasping in a hospital bed in Bethesda, staring at hands that weren't mine. Hale's hands, scarred from years in the shadows. Veins mapping a life of lies. The mirror showed a stranger, thinner face. Salt and pepper stubble. Eyes like chipped flint. But the voice in my head? Pure Oakley. South Side grit laced with fury. Rehab was a blur of physical therapy and covert briefings. Voss's people fed me Hale's backstory. Ex-Marine. Black Ops in Yemen. Widowed with a phantom kid to humanize the cover. I played along, burrowing into his life like a virus, hacking his contacts to trace the threads back to Ethan. That's when I found the secret, the one Voss buried deeper than my supposed corpse. The casino heist? It wasn't Ethan's screw-up alone. Voss had orchestrated it, using Ethan as a pawn to siphon funds for the swap program's off-books R&D. The bodies? Collateral. Same as me. Ethan confessed to me in a drunken voicemail I'd intercepted. Voice cracking. They made me Oak. Voss said it'd save us both. Save us. From what? The truth that our father, a crooked cop, had been Voss's informant, feeding mob intel until the bullets caught up. I spent those months as Hale plotting in whispers, building a network of disillusioned spooks and hackers who'd lost loved ones to the program. We called it Phantom Thread, a web of leaks designed to expose Neuralink as the Frankenstein it was. But vengeance isn't clean, it's a slow poison. I debated torching Ethan's life anonymously, letting the feds swarm his penthouse like roaches. Or going personal, crashing the wedding with a flash drive of Voss's kill orders. Controversial? Hell. I'd considered framing Ethan for Hale's murder, swapping evidence to pin the swap on him. Let him rot in a cell, feeling the betrayal's bite. But that'd make me no better than them, monsters in human skin. The recessional music swelled, trumpets blaring, cannon in D, as Ethan kissed Sarah. The crowd erupting in applause. I edged out from the pillar, tuxedo itching like a lie, blending into the exodus toward the cocktail hour. Voss was gone, vanished into the throng, but his threat lingered. I needed to move, to plant the first seed before he mobilized his hounds. The foyer was a crush of silk gowns and bow ties. Crystal flutes clinking under crystal chandeliers that dripped light like melting ice. I spotted Ethan across the room, arm around Sarah, laughing with venture capitalists in bespoke suits. He looked every inch the king. Sharp jaw. Tailored Armani. That easy charm masking the serpent beneath. Sarah caught my eye, or Hale's eye, and faltered, a flicker of unease crossing her porcelain features. We'd dated for 2 years before the heist fallout. She deserved better than Ethan's shadow. But love's a casualty in wars like this. I slipped a waiter a Benjamin for a tray of champagne, using it as cover to drift closer. My pocket buzzed, the burner, a text from my contact. Lena, a former DARPA coder gone rogue, Voss inbound. 10 minutes. Files uploaded. Burn it all. Heart racing. I palmed the USB drive. An innocuous black stick loaded with Voss's emails. Ethan's wire transfers. Schematics for the swap rig. One plug into the venue's AV system. And the wedding slideshow would morph into a confessional horror show. But doubt gnawed, controversial decisions. The kind that haunt you at 3 a.m. What about Sarah? The unborn kid she'd whispered about in bridal magazines? Exposing Ethan would torch her world too. Or the innocents in Neuralink civilian trials, vets with PTSD swapped into healthier shells, chasing normalcy. Was my revenge worth their unraveling? Screw it. Betrayal doesn't negotiate. I was 3 steps from the DJ booth when Voss materialized, a wall of starched menace blocking my path. His hand clamped my elbow.
Visetat.
We need to talk. Hale, or should I say, Oakley, walk with me. Or I call in the suits right here. Guests milled oblivious. But I saw the earpieces on his shadows. Suits blending into the crowd like wolves in sheep's clothing.
Fine, I mattered.
Voice steady as Hale's baritone masked my tremor. But make it quick. Brother's big day. He steered me toward a service corridor. Fluorescent hum replacing the string quartet's swell. The door clicked shut, sealing us in stale air thick with bleach and regret. Voss released me, leaning against a stack of folded linens, his face a map of calculated lines. You think you're clever.
Boy.
Digging up ghosts. He pulled a tablet from his jacket, screen glowing with surveillance stills. Me as Hale, meeting Lena in a Milwaukee dive, hacking terminals in a DC basement. The swap was a gift. You in that body, free from your indiscretions. Why squander it on spite? Indiscretions? I spat, stepping close enough to smell his aftershave. Old Spice. Grandpa's cologne on a warlord. You stole my life. General. Dumped me in a stranger's meat suit while Ethan cashed the checks. That's not a gift. That's a grave robbery. His laugh was dry as desert wind. Collateral. Oakley. The program's bigger than your sibling rivalry. Neuralink saves lives. Soldiers back from the brink. Minds preserved in the fight. Your brother's tech makes it possible. You're a glitch.
A glitch.
The word ignited something primal. I lunged, fist connecting with his jaw in a crack that echoed off cinderblock walls. He staggered, blood beading on his lip, but his eyes lit with dark amusement. That all you got? He straightened, wiping crimson with a thumb. Hit me again, and I'll swap you into a janitor's corpse. Or worse, back into your own, rotting at the bottom of the lake. The threat hung, but so did opportunity. While he monologued, my free hand slipped the USB toward a nearby outlet. AV feeds snaked through service halls like veins. One twist, and the wedding's big screen would bleed truth. Voss lunged back. But I was faster. Hale's training kicking in evasive roll, elbow to the solar plexus. He wheezed, tablet clattering. I jammed the drive home, sparks flying as data surged. Tell Ethan, I growled, pinning him. Family first. Alarms blared, not security, but the AV system glitching. Speakers crackling with Voss's voice from the files. Eliminate the asset. Echo 7's a liability. The corridor door burst open. Waitstaff gaping as the muffled chaos from the ballroom filtered in. Gasps. Shouts. The slideshow hijacked. I bolted. Voss's curses chasing me back into the fray. The ballroom was pandemonium. Projections of bank ledgers. Body cam footage of the casino hit. Ethan's face frozen in a guilty screenshot. Guests whispered. Phones out. Liv tweeting the scandal. Sarah stood statue still at the head table. Bouquet limp in her fist. Eyes on the screen where my confession video looped me in orange jumpsuit, taking the fall for family. Ethan spun, scanning the crowd, his mask cracking. Our eyes met across the chaos, brother to brother, betrayer to betrayed. For a split second, regret flickered in his gaze. Then fury. He shoved through the throng, bellowing my name, not Hale's. Oakley's, as security swarmed. I melted into the shadows, pulse thundering. The first strike landed. But revenge is a marathon, not a sprint. Voss would counter. Ethan would hunt. And the real twist? I wasn't done digging. There was one secret left. Buried in Hale's files, the swap hadn't been perfect. Fragments of Marcus lingered in my skull, memories that could upend everything. Panting in the alley behind the Ritz, rain slicking the pavement like oil on water. I ripped off the bow tie and ditched the tux jacket into a dumpster reeking of shrimp cocktail. Sirens wailed in the distance, Chicago PD converging on the wedding from hell. Voss's pull ensuring a swift cleanup. My burner buzzed. Lena again. Extraction at Ohio Street Beach. 20 minutes. Feds inbound. I sprinted west, legs burning from Hale's lean frame, mind racing faster. Hale's memories were bleeding through more each day, flashes like static on an old TV. A kid's birthday in Langley. Cake smeared on tiny hands, a wife's laugh echoing in a Georgetown brownstone, the snap of a neck in a Sanaa safe house. Guilt coiling like smoke. It wasn't just a swap, it was a merge. Voss's tech imperfect. Souls tangling in the quantum soup. I'd suppressed it at first, drowning the intrusions in whiskey and code.
But now?
They were ammunition. Hale had been Voss's inside man on the casino op, feeding intel that set up the heist. Ethan wasn't the pawn. Hale was the architect, using my brother to mask his own money laundering side hustle. The betrayal layered like sedimentary rock, Ethan screwing the job, me taking the fall out of blind loyalty, Voss exploiting it for black funds, Hale pulling strings from the grave. And me, the idiot linchpin, swapped to silence the one loose thread. But Hale's ghosts whispered strategies, back channels, dead drops that turned my ragtag network into a scalpel. Ohio Street Beach loomed, Lake Michigan churning under sodium lamps, waves slapping concrete like accusations. Lena's been idled in the lot, a nondescript Ford with tinted windows and Ohio plates. She was ex-Air Force, mid-30s with a pixie cut and tattoos mapping DARPA sins. The kind of ally you find in dark web forums or AA meetings for spooks. Get in, Damas, she hissed, sliding the door. I dove inside, the van peeling out as chopper blades thumped overhead, Voss's bird. No doubt. Talk, she said, weaving through traffic on Lakeshore Drive, wipers slapping rain. I spilled it all. The pillar. The fight. The upload. Her jaw tightened at Voss's name. You poked the bear.
Oak.
That drive? It's viral now. CNN's got embeds. Ethan's stock's tanking as we speak. She tossed me a laptop. Screen alive with feeds. Wedding guests fleeing. Sarah in tears on a leaked clip. Ethan ranting to reporters about corporate sabotage. Guilt twisted. Sharp as a shiv. Sarah's face, pale. Betrayed, mirrored the night she'd visited me in county. Smuggling commissary smokes and promises. I'll wait.
Oak.
Whatever it takes. But Ethan had slithered in. The charming savior with VC money and a penthouse view. I'd pushed her away post-release. Too broken to drag her into the shadows. Now, my chaos had orphaned her. Focus, Lena snapped, reading my silence. Phase 2, we hit Ethan's servers. Hale's access codes, use them. The laptop hummed, VPNs layering like onion skin as I punched in credentials from the merge memories. Hale's passphrase. A wife's birthday laced with regret. Neuralink's firewall buckled. Data spilling, patient logs from swap trials. Vets screaming in VR sims as minds fractured. Ethan's emails to Voss. Haggling body counts like livestock. One file stopped me cold. Project Echo Reversal. Schematics for undoing the swap. Reverse engineering consciousness back to original husks. But the notes? Voss's scrawl. Hale viable for rehosting. Oakley expendable. They'd planned to evict me permanently, slotting Hale's essence back once the heat died. Ethan had signed off. His digital ink sealing my second death. Rage boiled. But so did opportunity. I forwarded the lot to WikiLeaks mirrors. Anonymous drops that'd bloom like digital kudzu. It's done, I said, voice hollow. Lena nodded, but her eyes flicked rearview, taillights too steady. A black Escalade matching pace. Company, she murmured. I grabbed the Glock from under the seat, Hale's habit, loaded with hollow points. The van swerved onto a side street, tires screeching as the Escalade rammed our bumper. Glass shattered. Lena floored it, but they boxed us against a hydrant. Voss's goons piling out. X-Delta. Faces like carved granite. I kicked the door, rolling into the rain. Gun barking twice, center mass on the lead.
Drop.
Lena covered, her cig spitting fire. But numbers won. A tranq dart kissed my neck, world tilting as they swarmed. Last glimpse, Lena fighting. Then darkness. Woke strapped to a chair in a warehouse off the Dan Ryan. Concrete floors etched with oil stains. Air thick with diesel and despair. Voss paced. Ice packed to his jaw. Ethan beside him, disheveled in his wedding tux. Eyes wild. Oakley, Ethan breathed, stepping close. That boyhood plea in his voice. What the hell? Man, you ruin everything. I laughed, tasting blood. Me? You swap me out like a bad bet.
Bro.
For what? Daddy's approval. Voss's leash. Hale's memory surged. Ethan as a kid. Cowering from our old man's belt. Voss visiting in uniform. Promising protection for snitch work. Ethan recoiled. But Voss chuckled. Touching reunion. But Hale's in there. Isn't he? The glitches we've monitored. He tapped a console. Waveform spiking, my brain on display. Oakley's rage tangled with Hale's cunning. Cut the crap, I snarled. You gonna swap me again? Or just dump the body this time? Voss leaned in, breath hot. Better. We're reversing it, Hale back. You gone. Ethan's your ride home. He nodded to techs in white coats. Rig humming to life in the corner. Portable swap unit. Coils glowing malevolent. Ethan hesitated. Hand on my shoulder. It wasn't supposed to go down like this.
Oak.
The heist. Voss forced it. Said it'd fund the program. Get us out. Lies. But the crack in his voice?
Real.
Or was it? Hale's ghost whispered, he's playing you. Always has. The needles pricked. Ether flooding veins. Agony built. Mind fraying at edges. But in the merge, I found leverage. A backdoor Hale had coded. Virus dormant. As the machine peaked, I triggered it. Firewalls crumbling. Warehouse alarms wailing. Sprinklers dumping icy rain. Chaos erupted, tech scrambling. Boss cursing as systems fried. Ethan fumbled the restraints. I headbutt him. Stars exploding. Then bolted for the exit. Gunfire stitched the air. But I was out. Into the storm-slick night.
Lena is found miraculously intact.
Her slumped in the driver's seat. Alive.
Grazed.
Drive.
I yelled.
Peeling us into the expressway blur. Sirens wailed. But we lost them in the sprawl. Phase 2 down. Ethan's empire cracking. Boss exposed. But the merge deepened. Hale's voice in my head. Not whisper now. But shout. Finish it. For her.
Sarah.
Hale's wife. Long dead in a car accident, Voss arranged to cover tracks. The overlap hit like vertigo, her face morphing into Sarah's in my mind's eye. Was it coincidence?
Or design?
Another thread to pull. We holed up in a safe house in Gary, Indiana, abandoned steel mill. Ghosts of rust and reaganomics. Lena patched her wound, stitching with a curse-laced efficiency while I paced. Hale's memories assaulting. Ops in Fallujah. The thrill of the kill. The hollow after. You're fracturing, she warned, handing me morphine. The swap's unstable. Voss wants you erased 'cause you're the proof. Minds don't swap clean, they bleed. I nodded. But the plan coalesced. Controversial to the core. Infiltrate Ethan's board meeting tomorrow. Pose as Hale the consultant. Drop the reversal bomb. Expose not just the program, but the personal rot, our father's grave-robbing side gig with Voss. Bodies from the heist dug up as leverage. Let the shareholders devour him from within. But the decision gnawed. Mercy for Ethan? A brother's plea. Or Hale's cold calculus demanding total war. Dawn broke gray over the lake. Lena's contacts confirming. Ethan's jet grounded. Fed circling. My phone, Hale's burner, pinged, Sarah. Oak, if that's you. We need to talk. The baby, it's yours. Twist of the knife. She'd known. Played along for stability. Or genuine. A lifeline in the storm? I stared at the screen. Rain pattering tin roof. Revenge or redemption? The line blurred. As Hale's ghost and my own screamed for blood. The boardroom at Neuralink's Loop Tower was a glass airy. 30 stories up. Chicago sprawling below like a concrete chessboard, pawns and kings all ripe for toppling. I strode in as Marcus Hale. Crisp suit masking the morphine haze. Badge swiped with a cloned RFID. Execs in power ties milled, murmuring about the wedding leak. Ethan's absence a black hole sucking confidence. Voss was there too. In the shadows. Coordinating damage control via earpiece. Arrogant enough to show. Betting on my erasure. Sarah's text burned in my pocket. Unanswered. It's yours. The math checked. Our last night before the heist fallout. A desperate tangle in her Wrigleyville walk-up. Ethan had swooped in months later. The hero with bail money and blinders. She'd built a life on his lies. But the kid? That was my blood. A secret she'd buried deeper than Voss's ops. It humanized the monster, made the revenge personal. Not just payback. Controversial as hell. Abort the expose. Vanish with her. Let Ethan rot in irrelevance? Or weaponize it? Shatter the facade and claim what's mine? Hale's voice urged the latter. Take it all. Mercy is weakness. I took a seat at the oak slab table, nodding to the CFO, a weasel-faced prick named Harlan who'd laundered the casino skim. Gentlemen, I drawled in Hale's clipped Virginia accent. Let's cut the bullshit. Neural links on life support. Wedding stunts, just the appetizer. Head snapped. Voss stiffened from his corner perch. The CEO, a Botoxed relic named Pritchett, blustered. Who the hell are you? This is closed.
Hale.
Consultant. And I've got the menu. I slid the tablet across. Screen blooming with the reversal files, schematics. Trial horrors. Ethan's sig on termination orders. Gasps rippled. Pritchett's face drained to putty. Your golden boy? He's been playing Frankenstein with Uncle Sam. Swapping souls like stocks. Dumping glitches in the drink. Voss moved like smoke. Hand on my shoulder. Enough, Marcus. But his grip faltered. My virus from the warehouse had spread. His comms glitching with static bursts of leaked audio, his own voice. Ordering my disposal. The room erupted. Phones out. SEC alerts pinging. Pritchett slamming fists. Ethan's en route, he barked to an assistant. Lock it down. But the seed was planted. Whispers of lawsuits.
Indictments.
I leaned back, savoring the fracture. When the doors burst, Ethan, wild-eyed, flanked by private security, Voss's shadows melting away. Oakley, he roared, crossing the room in strides, ignoring the bored stares. Up close, he looked wrecked, tucks rumpled, stubble shadowing that boyish charm. You son of a bitch. Sarah told me everything. The kid. The swap. Why now? After all this time?
Sarah.
She'd cracked. Confessed under the wedding's fallout. Part of me softened, brother's plea hitting old wounds, but Hale's merge hardened it. He's baiting. Voss's script. Why? I stood, voice low so the mics wouldn't catch. You let them erase me.
Ethan.
For what? Your slice of the pie. Dad would have hated you for it. His face crumpled. Genuine or not. Dad was the start. Voss owned him, made us snitches to climb. The heist? Clean up for his dirt. I confessed to you in county. Begged you not to take the fall. You did it anyway, stubborn oak. Always the hero. Tears welled. But his hand twitched toward a pocket knife?
Gun?
The board watched. Rapt. This domestic drama eclipsing the scandal. Lies layered on lies. Hale's memory pierced. Ethan bragging in a bar. Voss's pat on the back. Hero? Bullshit. You sold me out twice, once for the rap. Again for the rig. I shoved him back. Execs scattering. Security lunged, but Voss called them off, calculating, waiting for the swap van to roll up outside. Ethan lunged instead, fist glancing my jaw, south side scrappy, not polished. We grappled, crashing into the credenza, glass shattering like brittle trust. I saved you, he gasped, pinning me. The reversal, Voss promised it'd bring you back clean.
No glitches.
The admission hung. A noose. He'd known about the merge.
The bleed.
Controversial choice. Believe him. Call truce.
Expose vos solo?
Or end it here. Choke the life from the brother who'd choked mine? My hands closed on his throat. Hale's training surging, pressure points. Lethal precision. His eyes bulged.
Pleading. The kid.
Oakley. Sarah's face flashed. Our kid. I released, gasping, as security hauled us apart. Voss smirked from the sidelines. Phone to ear. Extract now. The building shook, not quake. But breach, Lena's team. Hackers looping cams. EMP pulse frying locks. Alarms wailed. The board fled in panic. I bolted for the stairwell. Ethan shouting after. Wait. It's not what you think. But Hale's ghost drowned him. Run. Regroup. Strike fatal. Down 30 flights. Lungs burning. Into the loop's bustle. Taxis honking. Vendors hawking dogs. Lena's signal beaconed. Alley rendezvous. Chopper inbound from a sympathizer pilot. I hit the street, blending into the lunch rush. But Voss's net tightened, barricades up. Feds in windbreakers flashing badges. Ducked into a L station. Sardine with commuters. Mind whirling. The twist nod. If Ethan was right, the swap's imperfection wasn't sabotage. It was sabotage by Hale. Coded virus to expose Voss from within. Merge memories confirmed. Hale's final op. Embedding the backdoor before his interrogation. I'd been his vessel. Unwitting avenger. But why me? Why not erase clean? The train lurched. Brakes screeching as TAC teams boarded at the next stop, Voss closing. I vaulted a turnstile. Sprinting trackside. Sparks flying from the third rail's hum. A shot winged past. Concrete chipping. I returned fire blind. Hale's instincts guiding. Leapt a gap to the parallel platform. Crowd screaming as I vanished into the underbelly. Hours later. Holed in a flop house off Halstead. Lena patched the grays. Ethan's spilling to the feds, trading Voss for immunity. Says you're unstable. A threat. Her eyes searched mine. You buying his redemption arc? I stared at the peeling wallpaper. Hale's wife's photo materializing in memory. Not Sarah. But Echo. Same eyes. Same strength. The secret unburied. Voss hadn't killed her. Ethan had. Drunk driving after fight. Covering with mob ties. Hale's revenge seated in me. Full circle. No, I said, loading the clip. But the kid changes the math. We end Voss first, his bunker. The rig. Reverse the merge on our terms. Lena nodded.
Grim.
Controversial as hell. If it backfires. You're two men in one skin, schizo poster boy.
Worth it. I lied.
But the doubt festered. Revenge's cost, a family fractured. A child fatherless either way. Night fell. Chopper lifting us south toward Bragg, heart of the beast. Winds buffeted. City lights fading to black. Hale whispered approval. Oakley screamed warning. The line between hero and haunt, razor thin. Fort Bragg's perimeter was a fortress of razor wire and motion sensors. But Lena's insider, a disgruntled MP with a grudge, slipped us through a service gate under moonless sky. The bunker loomed. Concrete maw yawning beneath pine thickets. Humid Carolina air thick with cicada drone and diesel exhaust. My skin crawled. Hale's memories flooding. Interrogations here. Screams echoing off blast doors. This way, I murmured, navigating blind spots etched in his ghost map. Voss waited inside. Of course, Trap sprung. Floodlights snapping on as we breached the antechamber. Goons materialized. M4S trained. But Lena's EMP grenade popped. Electronics frying in a wine. Gunfire cracked. Suppressed bursts.
Shadows dancing.
I dropped 2. Hale's muscle memory flawless. Double tap. Reload. Advance. Lena covered. Her AR barking. But Voss's voice boomed over intercom. Stand down. Oakley. Or Hale. Whoever's driving. We pushed deeper. Corridors narrowing to the core. The swap vault. Rig humming like a dormant god. Voss stood at its console. White coat over fatigues. Ethan bound to a gurney beside. Drugged. Eyes glassy. Clever, Voss drawled. Hands raised in mock surrender. No gun. Arrogance as armor. But predictable. Hale's playbook. Always the frontal assault. The merge surged. Hale's rage syncing with mine, kill him. But Ethan's groan pulled me short. Oak. Stop. He's got the codes. Reversal.
It'll fix you. Fix.
As if I were broken goods. Sarah's text echoed. The baby. I'd replied en route. Safe house address.
Go now.
She'd come. Or not. Choice hers. But Voss's smile curdled it. Touching. But the truth.
Boys.
There is no clean swap. Echo's a one-way ticket. Mine's merge. Degrade. Hale chose you 'cause you're compatible. Same blood. Same sins. Fraternal ghosts. Tangled from the womb. Twist gut-punched. Experiments pre-heist. Voss testing on us kids, dad's deal. Neural probes for protection. Ethan knew. Pushed the program to bury it. Betrayal's root. Not greed. But fear of exposure. You made us monsters, I whispered. Gun steady on Voss's chest. He laughed. Activating the rig, coils whining. Ether crackling. Monsters win wars. Sign the waiver. Ethan, immunity for all. My brother stirred. Mumbling assent. Eyes flicking to me. Plea or ploy. Controversial crux. Shoot Voss. Doom the reversal. Live merged. 2 souls in fraying flesh. Haunting my child's life. Or plug in. Risk the void for singularity. Lena tensed beside. Waiting my call. I holstered. Stepping to the gurney. Do it. Text swarmed. Needles pricking. Ethan free. Scrambling back as the machine peaked. Agony ripped. Souls shearing. Hale's essence uncoiling like barbed wire from my core. Flashes, his wife's death. Ethan's wheel spin, casino blood. Voss's cigars, Sarah's laugh. A kid's cry unborn. The void swallowed. Then spat me out, gasping in my original skin? No, Oakley's body. Preserved in cryovat. Thawed and wired. But the eyes staring back from the monitor? Mine. Pure, no merge haze. Voss's tech worked. Reversal clean. Or so it seemed. Ethan rushed forward, unbinding me.
See?
We're good.
Oak.
Family. His hug was desperate. But Hale's final whisper lingered. Trap. The rig's backdoor, my virus, hadn't fried it. It had rerouted. Voss's console beeped. Upload complete. My confession beamed to Langley, framing me as the saboteur. Hale's vengeful ghost. Sirens wailed topside. Feds. Voss's cavalry. Lena fired a burst, covering our retreat. But Voss blocked the door. Trank gun raised. One glitch left. Oakley. Hale's in Ethan now. My brother's eyes glazed. Voice shifting to Hale's timbre. Finish, boss. For her. Chaos. Ethan, Hale, lunging at boss. Fraternal fury unleashed. They grappled, rig sparking as bodies hit controls.
Explosion roquette quoi l'overloading.
Fire blooming. I dragged Lena out. Ethan / Voss tumbling into the inferno. Screams merging into silence. We surfaced gasping. MPs swarming but Voss's overrides glitching, my virus holding. Chopper blades thumped. We lifted. Flames licking the pines below. Sarah waited at the LZ. Belly swelling under her coat. Eyes fierce. You came, she said, hand in mine. But the ending? Debatable as dawn. Ethan's body charred. But Hale's merge? Eternal. Perhaps brother's shell housing the ghost died avenged. Voss gone. Program gutted by leaks. Neuralink ashes.
Me?
Free. In my skin. But hollow, revenge's bill, a family rebuilt on graves. Months later, in a Milwaukee suburb, kid's first cry piercing the night. I held him, tiny fists clutching, eyes like Ethan's or Hale's. Sarah slept beside. Peace hard won. But in quiet hours, I wonder, did I win? Or just swap one haunt for another? Family first, after all. Or was it?